This is a full view. Welcome back. Now, President Cyril Ramaphosa will on Monday address the National Conference on the State of Human Rights conference marking the 30th anniversary of the constitutional democracy and human rights in South Africa. The conference will be hosted by the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development from the 18th to the 20th of March 2024 under the theme 3 Decades of Respect for and the Promotion of Human Rights. Well, let's get more on this conference with Justice and Constitutional Development Director General Advocate Doc Mashabane, who's already, I understand, at the venue in Birchwood Hotel. A very good evening to you, DG. Thank you so much for your time. Look, the conference kicks off tomorrow. Tell us more about the significance of this theme as we celebrate 30 years of constitutional democracy as a country. What does this theme speak to?
Thank you very much, and good evening to you and your viewers. This indeed is a critical conference in the history of our democracy, and it's one of those events that will kickstart the year-long, celebration of our constitutional democracy. As you will recall, that post-1994, at the dawn of democracy, March was declared a Human Rights Month in honor of the people that were brutally murdered in Sharpeville in 1960 by the apartheid government. It's one of those days that is dedicated to, this commitment to respect human rights in this country after centuries and decades of gross violation of human rights, racial discrimination and subjugation of the majority of the citizens of this country. So the conference starting tomorrow on Monday to be addressed by the President and later with many speakers who will be participating on is aimed at giving a reflection and making an assessment of how far we have come over the past 30 years in terms of building a culture of respect for human rights.
Let's expand on that, DG. I mean, the conference is premised on the core mandate of the department to uphold as well as administer the Constitution of the Republic. So talk to us about how these have been actually achieved and promoted, and where are we as a country maybe still struggling in addressing the very ethos of these gains?
Look, a significant progress has been made in terms of building that culture of human rights. As you know, this human rights is contained in the Constitution, Chapter 2 of the Bill of Rights, which its main source as well is the International Bill of Rights. South Africa is a signatory, is a state party to many international and regional human rights instruments. So in terms of those instruments and that packaged and finds resonance in our Chapter 2 of the Bill of Rights. If you look at the number of things that have been done over the past 3 years, be it any form of service delivery in the socio-economic space, even in terms of the civil and political rights, there's a marked difference between the period before 1994 and the period post-1994. Legislations, all of them have been adjusted to be in line with the Constitution, because in terms of the Constitution is supreme. And in terms of the general political governance, the Constitution reigns supreme. Any form of legislation or policy or conduct that is not in line with the Constitution, and put differently, of course, you can say that is not in line with Chapter 2 of the Bill of Rights, of the Constitution, which is the Bill of Rights, means that it cannot be valid, it cannot stand. So over that period of 3 years, you will see a lot of issues that have been dealt with, addressing historic imbalances, and so on and so forth, has been a commitment to the promotion of human rights itself.
Now, understand, DG, that the objectives of the conference include an opportunity to also unpack the legal, administrative, operational, as well as financial hurdles that have, of course, impacted progress towards the realization of human rights, and make recommendations as well to address gaps as well as challenges in this regard. Are you able to share some of those proposals with us at this point?
Look, the first day, of course, I'm saying the President will speak, and later, particularly the second day, the focus will be on what is called the progressive realization of socioeconomic rights, which is part of the Constitution. In fact, what makes the South African Constitution to be progressive is because of the justiciability of socioeconomic rights, meaning that the citizens of this country have a claim against the state to socioeconomic rights. So we'll kickstart the discussion by having a discussion on the efforts to transform and build a resilient economy in order to create jobs. We know the challenge of joblessness, the challenge of poverty and underdevelopment in this country. So the view generally is that you need a strong and a growing economy to address this socioeconomic crisis, because if the economy is not strong, you're not able to fund programs that address those issues like right to housing, right to water and sanitation, right to education and health. You will therefore not have those rights realized. But in order to realize them progressively, you need availability of resources which have to come from the economy. So that's going to be a discussion. There will be a reflection on the state of the economy. Has the economy been transformed in order to make sure that majority of the people of this country participate in that economy? But is this economy strong to withstand several shocks and also make sure that it's an open economy that is inclusive to the majority and everyone that was previously excluded? So that's going to be part of the discussion. And from that discussion on the economy, then we'll move into different sets of discussion, like the role of the social protection in terms of making sure that you address the challenge of poverty and unemployment, but also generally the right to health, the right to access to housing, and all the related socio-economic rights will be discussed. Now, we don't necessarily have a report that will say this is how far we've gone, because we want to leave that to the conference. So if you look at the quality of the participants, you have drawn participants from all spheres of life: academia, legal practitioners, members of cabinets, and senior bureaucrats, and members of civil society, who will have a discussion and make an assessment of what has been the lived experience insofar as those specific promises from the Chapter 2 of the Constitution.
DG, thank you so much for that. We'll definitely be tracking that story right here on SABC News. That is Justice and Constitutional Development Director General Advocate Doc Mashabane.